So me and Ernest have been talking today, putting together structure for some of the new systems that we're building on the back end. And this came up in conversation. Data is the new oil money. Prove me wrong. Stepping into this rapidly expanding information age, we can pretty much bank on the fact that the industrial age is dead. It's a prehistoric dinosaur in these changing times with the rapid increase of technology, big tech, and information being passed across the internet in a lot of different levels. And Ernest can attest to this. I mean, he's from Nigeria, has a really incredible story about how he got to the United States. Now he works with our team part-time, helping with integration tasks, and just started his full-time gig as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start. We can make it real brief, but let's go a little bit with your background story, how you got here.
Yeah. So I got here some 5 years ago. No, not like 7 years now, right? But what we know, like we are talking about data, the world has become a global village. I hear people ask me, how you learn English so fast? And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, I mean, in Nigeria, it's all English. This is how I have always spoken, since I know. Since I went to elementary school speaking English this way, all the way. So, yeah, fine. But talking about in today's world, we have a lot of things to do when it comes to data. Back in the days, you look at oil, you have to travel to the Middle East or travel to somewhere. But in Nigeria, we have people who are more current with what is going on in America than even people living in America.
I believe that because we're kind of like cyborgs here, right? Like we watch so much entertainment and television that it morphs our minds into this fantasy world where we're not really in tune to what's really happening around us, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's why content is driving the world. Data is driving the world. So you can be anywhere in the world, okay? And as long as you make out time to consume content intentionally, so you don't just consume content that destroy you, but that add knowledge to you.
Yeah.
You can be in Asia or in Africa and be more conversant with what's going on in America.
That's incredible.
And you that live in America. And that's why I said, I agree with you, Ben. Data is not going to become the new oil. It's already the new oil.
It already is. It's here.
Yeah. Trust me. I mean,
that's a bold statement too. I mean, think about it back in the day with even like the Bushes and how they built their wealth. And you think about these predominant families building these massive oil, rigs and mining operations across the world. Like that's really how the global elites controlled the resources, and the financial system as it sits was having control of the functions and the tools that provided those mining resources, right? Fast forward to where we are today with the internet and technology where it is. Well, one, it's connected us on so many different levels where we're able to consume and take in new information. We're able to learn anything we want, whether it be a language, a new skill set, how to build a business. Like all the information is there. You just got to know how to find it, right? But what it's done is it's broken down this invisible wall that the gatekeepers used to keep, right? The ultra wealthy people used to have this wall that you couldn't really bypass unless you were a part of that circle.
absolutely.
But now we have access to all the information at our fingertips, right?
Yeah.
And to your point, what is information? Information is data. It's information.
That's it. And I like that because you asked me the other time to introduce myself. I'm an IT professional. I'm information person, right? I have been on different side of information technology. I've been on the side of the infrastructure. I have close to well over a decade, to be conservative, well over a decade of experience around information. And I've seen information being processed. I have had to define, data and information. How do you mine data? How do you process data to become information? Because information is really what you use. Data is raw. Now, even coming down below data is content. Content creation. You have video, vlogs. Before vlogs, we were having blogs, binary large objects. That's what blogs are.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, binary large objects. Yeah. Then we now have video blogs now. And we don't know the next thing coming with metaverse, with and all of this new technology coming. So all of that, you begin to mine them. You mine before now. The focus was on mining data to become information. Now, the smarter ones mine content to data, and then data is further processed to information. And then you being available to understand the tools, the technology, and having the right resources to mine this content, to first decide on the kind of content you want to consume, because some content destroy, and some build. So you need to decide on consuming the content that build. And then once you have that kind of content, you process it, you mine it, and you have data from it. And from that data you mine it, you have useful information. And then from having useful information, you can take actionable and very well informed decisions.
Yeah. So basically, the way you're breaking it down, the data, right? It's the macro feedback loops, if you will, right? It's the bigger picture. Like, United States of America has this many people, right?
Yeah.
But in order to take that macro data and break it in to bite-sized chunks that people can either consume or look at, evaluate, and make informed decisions with, you have to be able to somehow process it, right? Bring it through a system to process it, to make sure that the right outputs get aggregated and put into the right place.
Absolutely.
Right? And then it communicates back to the user to help make informed purchase decisions, real estate, looking at property comps, recently sold, whatever the case might be, right? But it's the data that say you look at Zillow, right, to look at a home value. You see just this house sold for this and that, but you didn't see all these different integrations on the back end tying back from 10 different resources to bring the greater picture together and present it to the consumer, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So just what you said is you have you have the data. Now, how do you use the data you have? That's what separates the wealthy from those who are struggling.
Yeah.
The wealthy people are intelligent enough to know how to use that data. Almost everybody have access to Zillow, right? I'm talking of, you might be a prime member, like there might be some subscription, but let's even say Google, for instance. Almost everybody have access to Google at some level, right? Now, we all can be watching the same thing or having the same access to the same platform like Zillow, but somebody is able to analyze, okay, at certain times of the year, these prices are at these locations are this, and at a certain time of the year, the prices are low. And then that is information right there. So everybody have access to the data, but it takes somebody to interpret that data, process that data, and identify something, observe something. As certain month of the year, prices I see on Zillow are this. And that has continued over 2, 3, 4 years. So that means if as a buyer, I should save up and buy at a certain time and sell at a certain time.
Yeah.
But everybody have the same data. But it took somebody that understands an intelligent way of using data.
They study it and they analyze the patterns,
Absolutely.
right? The ebbs and the flows, instead of just making an uninformed decision because they're emotionally involved, right? You can't allow your emotions to drive your business decisions. You got to look at the numbers and look at the data.
Absolutely. And technology is only a tool. Data is available everywhere. Everywhere. When you take a walk around your neighborhood, you have content around.
Yeah, so the data is just your two eyes, you see, and
around.
everything that you're surrounded by, everything you're taking in, it's data. It's information in some shape or form, right?
Yeah.
And it somehow goes through your whatever prefrontal or retina and all that and hits a couple different energy molecules bouncing back and forth and communicates a signal back to your brain, recognizing that that's a tree, right?
I like how you put that. That's interesting. I never saw it that way. Yeah. But really, so now what if someone is able to capture that and store it? As against just processing it in your brain, because there's only so much amount of time the human brain can retain data. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
So what we should do, what technology does is, okay, now I've captured this, how do I quickly push it into a system that can be stored so that I can always come and mine it and process it. That is, and that's why.
That's what the wealthiest people in the world are thinking about right now. That's
exactly.
Elon Musk that's thinking about putting a Neuralink.
Yeah, Neuralink. That's what Neuralink is all about. Because guess what Elon Musk is looking at? The bandwidth of the human of humans is small.
So much. Yeah. We might use 5%, because if our mind opened up to everything that was happening around us, our head would explode.
Absolutely.
That's why the reticulating activating system, right? You ever heard the story where you buy a new car and all of a sudden you see that same car all driving down the road, right?
Yeah.
Or picture a certain color, brown, right? And you get your eye fixed on something in the room, and all of a sudden, your mind is aware of things that have always been there, but you don't pay attention because you can only absorb so much.
Interesting. And they're talking about that because talking about absorbing a limit to how much we can absorb per time, and what Neuralink is trying to do. Inputs into the human system is very limited. I mean, the eyes, right? And if you want to put something down to store, you have to use your fingers, right? And you have to type. We, as human beings, and I'm sure as a businessman, you soon realize that is limiting in itself, right? Now, thankful for technology, you now have voice recognition, right? You don't need to type, you can just say what you want, right? And that's what we're trying to do. That's where we're going to. The input bandwidth should be increased. You don't have to sit down alone to type before you can input your content. We need to expand that bandwidth of input system.
That's crazy
So
stuff.
from voice, now voice is going. Video is also on now. You can have video recognition, face recognition, right? That is capturing your face. Now the next thing is mind recognition, capturing your thoughts. That is what Neuralink is doing.
That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, so you capture your thoughts and begin to process those thoughts.
That's scary.
Yeah, it
freaking
sounds
scary.
to me too. But we are in technology, and the truth is everything is scary. Like 100 years ago, if you have told somebody that, okay, why in your farmland, or if I've told my grandfather or my great-grandfather in Nigeria that certain time your grandson will be in far away America, and will be able to talk to you, and you'll be able to see him live, that would be super scary to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing here. So, yeah, it's progressive.
You know, crazy to think like God, the creator, spoke the universe into existence, right? Just spoke it. Thought it, spoke it. Seeing how fast things are expanding in our space now, like what I think, deep level stuff, if we're created in God's image, right? We have some of that same inherent power to create, right? In fact, we're born to create.
Absolutely.
And this will bridge perfectly into the next part of the conversation. But what they teach you in school is to be a good technician. They want you to fall into a mold where you can just repeat a problem or memorize an answer. So almost like robotic, you can just repeat back, study good for the test, earn good grades, right? But a train of thought, they talk about how school's actually like suffocating that creativity from inside of us, right? Instead of encouraging a kid to ask deeper questions, right? To really dig deep and think about the things they're thinking about and stuff. We program them to be good technicians, right? It's almost like a robot. Not that it's a bad thing by any means, but I've heard some different talks about how it kind of strangles that creative instinct, that we're inherently born with. And by the time that we reach like a mature age, so many of that's been drowned out because we're always told what we need to do or to obey the rules or to follow a certain structure. It's interesting.
Yeah. Actually, I had wanted to touch back on what you said about how God said the word, and it happened. Then I would then come back immediately to the school side. So when we read the Bible and we hear that God said it and it happened, a lot of people, the natural thinking is that that's not possible, probably a myth. How can God say that and just happen? But now with what we are seeing today, we're not saying that it's possible actually. If human beings created in God's image can begin to think
in a certain way
of what we are capturing your thoughts, then how much more the God who created the human being. So as human beings, we can process things even from our thought level, not just our word level or the written level. Now we begin to impute your thoughts into a computer, a laptop, or a mobile phone, just your thoughts.
Yeah.
And then begin to process that. And how much more God, who created us.
Yeah.
As human beings, we are able to capture our written data, capture our voice data through voice recognition, capture our pictures, facial data through face recognition, and videos. Now the next thing, like we said, is thoughts, at the level of thoughts. You know how many, I don't want to place a number to it, but maybe in thousands or millions of thoughts that comes through the human brain every time.
Oh, yeah. Billions a day.
So there's so many, you can possibly start writing them down. So if you have a way of those thoughts being captured and being processed, that is another mining of data right there.
Yeah.
So if all of this is possible by human beings, or at least have been thought of to be possible, how much more the creator?
Yeah.
So for me, as a technology person, haven't been around this space. I have international experience working with large organizations at different levels. Understanding these things have not only made me to believe more in God, but it has made me to actually see that this thing is the scripture is real.
Yeah, and His handprints are on all of it.
Absolutely. It baffles me how it takes people away from God. It baffles me how knowing these things makes you go away. it should actually bring you more closer to God. And
Yeah.
God is not anti-science, he's not anti-progress. You know, he will always use everything to his advantage.
God is about expansion.
Absolutely.
He wants us to live fuller, more abundant lives. He wants to give us the ability to create
Absolutely.
things on our term, life
Yeah.
on our terms, so we can live to be our greatest selves, right?
They are evangelistic tools. Just like back then we needed to go with printed Bible before we can read Bible. Now you can bring out your phone and read, right? You have to go to a church or a meeting to hear people preach. Now you can pretty much outside of your home listen. So I believe God knows what he's doing. I'm a believer, I'm a disciple of Jesus, and I'm proud to be. And it does not in any way affect my technology profession. I
Yeah.
mean, God owns me and the knowledge.
Yeah, if anything, that faith enhances it, right? Because unlimited power, right? When you're tapped into the source,
Yeah.
you have more power, more energy, more ideas to create.
Absolutely. So my message to my to those who share my faith, who share the faith to Jesus' followers, disciples, is do not be scared. Don't be scared with this technology. God is more than it. There's no. Don't be scared of end times, right? Embrace it. Enjoy it. When the time ends, we know it ends, and we will live. As long as we are on this side of eternity and God has not come, enjoy the technology, enjoy the moment. Travel to space if you can afford it.
Yeah.
You know, get yourself a pair of VRs if you can afford it. Do what you can do, and then make sure you use everyone to God's glory to evangelize. That's all. Now let's go back to the school, the traditional system of education we're talking about. I have a God sees my hand. I have a whole lot of respect for our traditional education system, the way we knew it to be. But we need to face the facts. You know, it made us. It processed a lot has come out of the traditional system of education. You know, and I still believe it's still going to be around. Okay, but the regulators, the owners, the operators have to embrace today's reality.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
They'll get
be
left
dead.
behind. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
it will be there.
it's slowly decaying.
Yeah.
The existing system as it sits, it's kind of been in a stagnant state for a while.
Wow.
I mean, when I was waiting tables at the Blue Marlin downtown, there was several people that had bachelor's degrees, graduated from college, that were waiting tables with me, right? Because they couldn't find a job in their field of study.
Yeah.
So I'm not anti-college, anti-education system either, but I'm definitely all about making sure that it's the right decision for the individual. You know, like this whole mindset of encouraging kids, hey, just go to college, graduate high school, go to college. I feel like encouraging kids to get in a bunch of debt, especially when they don't have a set direction or a field of study that they want to master, you're encouraging a kid to make one of the biggest purchase decisions of their life, to take on a bunch of debt, right?
That's so sad. So sad. I mean, having college degrees and going to school, just like almost everybody knows, is not just the certificate that you have that really makes the difference. Is the person you have become in going through the process. So what the school system actually does, and I believe, and that's why I recommend going to college if you can, is it does teach people on how to think.
Structure.
Right? Structure, discipline. Okay? Now, in today's world, you need to be able to understand that this is a result-oriented world, right? The world is at a pace that we have never experienced for human history. So, if you're going to college to spend 4 years, okay, don't forget there's someone else who only need 1, 2, 3 months
to learn the same thing
in cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
Learn cryptocurrency in 3 months, invest in it, and in a year, he's probably going to earn what, if you go to college for 4 years, you probably will not earn 5 years after college.
Yeah.
So now, what is the point here? The point is, does college have its place? Yes, it does. It still has its place. I still tell my children, read, work hard, study hard, because the process of doing all of that will make you a better person. If you decide to, you can be in college. So we're already in a world where you don't have to be streamlined to one thing. Being able to diversify, multitask, do so many things at the same time is a lot. And that's why the big schools, the popular schools, the Stanford, the Harvards, they have those names because of their alumni. People that go there are usually successful.
Yeah.
So I know today that those schools and our school system, they are smart people there.
But you also kind of buy into a club, I think, right? Like you graduate from a certain school, it's like the insider's pass. Hey, get your quick pass to go, work at this prestigious business somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you're right, 100%. You'll pick up good information in college. You meet lifelong relationships. They're going to propel you into the future, right? That's definitely a spot for that.
But the problem is going with the wrong mindset.
Well, it's that, and it's also like vast knowledge.
Yeah.
It's study all these different courses so you can learn about all these different areas, right? We're missing the specialized knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the real defined specialized knowledge that's going to make you become a master at one thing?
And that's what the workplace is looking for today. What you need to know is becoming narrower and narrower. The workplace is looking for specific knowledge, specific skill sets in a specific area. You run a business, Ben. You run a business. You know what you want somebody to accomplish for you. You need somebody to do a particular thing for you, and not just say, okay, I'm a computer person. If you're a computer person, you study computer science, fine. Congrats. I need to work on my SEO. You know what you're looking for, right? It's not your business if he or she needs money to pay off his student loan or not. That's not your business. As a business owner, if you have a problem to solve. So that's where the missing link is. So you go to school and you are spread out. A little bit of everything. And you come out of school and you come to apply for a job, they're looking for specific knowledge, and you don't have that. So how does our school system address this? If the school system don't have a solution for it, then you as a student have to take that responsibility upon yourself. You know what? You can manage yourself. Take a certain number of credits, make sure for that 4 years I'm developing myself in specific area. And that's what something like what you are doing is about, investor syndicates. I don't see anything stopping a college kid to be here, to be in this club. Where they can learn have specific skill sets, specific knowledge in specific domain area. By the time they are out of school, there is a clear difference between that kind of college kid and the one who just stayed in school.
Yeah.
Doing what everybody else is doing.
Or just the network in itself, right?
How about that?
Being able to network with other people across the globe that share similar interests as you, right? That have either similar or diverse skill sets, but you guys can come together and collaborate to reach a higher plane of not only knowledge and understanding, but as far as reaching your investment goals. Mm-hmm. At least speaking specifically to the investor syndicate.
Absolutely.
Right?
Financial education is key, brother. It's key. Investor Syndicate is offering that platform for free financial education. You can't place a monetary value on that. That's the difference between the wealthy and those who work for the wealthy people. financial education. And that's what you're doing. You're doing something very noble, brother. I thank you and the team, and I'll be here.
And we're just learning.
Yeah.
I don't have the whole thing figured out, right? But I realize that I don't always have to have the answers,
Yeah.
right? As long as I'm stepping out and I'm taking massive imperfect action, well, yes, I'm going to fail, but every time that I fail, I'm going to learn, right? And every lesson that I take, I can put into my toolbox to hold on to for the next one, right? And if there's something that I don't know the answer to, then I just surround myself with a powerhouse team, a board of advisors, if you will, right? People in my circle that can help get me quicker to those answers, that can help guide me towards making informed decisions, right? And instead of having to go through a lengthy process, 4, 6, 8-year degree period, put you on the fast track, right? So if you can compress time, right, and take what it's taken somebody 20 years to acquire in the marketplace and in the business, what if you can compress that into like 6 months?
How wonderful. How wonderful. Wow. That's mind-blowing, brother. I mean, it's mind-blowing to know that it's a game changer. It's a game changer. And you don't, like you said, I mean, no one knows everything. No, I mean, I don't expect you to know everything, right? But just creating that environment, that platform,
Yeah,
is all what we need.
that's it.
And that's what Facebook is about. Right?
Yeah.
Just a platform. It doesn't, no single person owns the data on Facebook. But Facebook is a lot of it's a minefield. It's a lot of, it's an oil field of money, you know, because people randomly upload data without even knowing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Content without even knowing. Oh, this is my picture today, and then it's an environment where people process technological tools like we are doing. I know you are building a lot of tools for entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, and even established entrepreneurs to use. That's all. Just make that available for people and let people know it's available.
You do that and you provide a place and a space. After you earn their trust, money will follow.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. You're solving a problem.
Yep. That's the best businesses. All they did was they asked a question: how can I solve an existing problem in the marketplace? Right? Usually it comes from within. Right? In our case, we're developing tools to help us inside of our own business. But once these tools are fully polished and developed, the problem that we solved internally, we can open up and help solve more people's problems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that's how winning is done.
Yeah. That is it. That is absolutely it. Wow. Nice learning. I've learned a lot from you today.
Yeah.
So,
That was a good
job.
that was a good talk, man.
Good one, brother. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys on the other side. Click
Yeah.
the link.